All right, so today we're doing something kind of different.
Oh,
Yeah, we're diving deep into this film treatment called It's Just in Your Head.
hmm. Interesting.
And it's basically, think of it as like a detailed movie proposal,
Uh-huh.
right? You got the plot, the characters, the
Oh,
themes.
so we get to peek into the director's mind even before the film is made.
Exactly. And this one is really intriguing. It's about this guy, Jonathan.
Oh,
He's a, get this, he's a skinny intelligence analyst.
interesting. So not like your typical action hero to
No, but not at all. More like, the kind of person you wouldn't picture, like bench pressing a car or anything.
Right. Yeah.
But here's the thing, he's head over heels for his colleague, Mariana, and he's willing to go to some pretty crazy lengths just to get her attention.
So there's a contrast already, right? Like we've got this seemingly ordinary guy with this like extraordinary determination.
Absolutely. And the screenwriter really plays with that contrast, the whole underdog thing, but with a romantic comedy twist.
I like it.
Yeah. And speaking of characters, let's talk about Jonathan a bit more.
Sure.
So the treatment describes him as um, a diligence worker,
Diligence work.
which kind of makes you think, meticulous, organized, maybe even a bit uptight.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, he's got this passionate side, this drive to win Mariana over.
Which pushes him outside of his comfort zone, right? I mean, that's a conflict the director can really have fun with.
Oh, totally. Like visually,
Ah.
close-ups of him sweating, straining, trying to lift a weight that's way too heavy for him.
Yeah, exactly. Like a physical manifestation of his inner struggle.
I can picture it now.
And then there's Mariana, the object of his affection.
Right, right. And the treatment doesn't give us a ton about her, but there's this one scene
Yeah.
where she's watching Jonathan through a crack in her office door.
Like she's curious.
Yeah, maybe a little intrigued, but also trying to keep her distance.
Oh, playing hard to get, maybe. The director can really play with that, keep the audience guessing.
For sure, for sure. And then we have this whole cast of supporting characters.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
There's Anton, he's like the tough love trainer. Then you've got Valentina, she's this really strict supervisor.
Okay.
And then there's even a psychologist who uses these, well, unconventional methods,
Unconventional. How so?
like hypnosis through a bracelet, that kind of thing.
Whoa, that's out there.
Yeah. So each of these characters kind of pushes Jonathan in a different way. Anton pushes him physically, Valentina pushes him in the workplace.
And the psychologist pushes him to like confront his inner demons or something.
Right. And speaking of inner demons, it's clear that the director wants to explore this theme of psychological trauma.
How so?
There are these little hints throughout the treatment. Like, there's a scene where Jonathan's standing rigidly, almost at attention, in front of this photo of himself from military school.
Oh, I see. So it's not like explicitly stated, but
Yeah.
there's this underlying sense of something from his past affecting him now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It adds this layer of mystery, makes the audience wonder what happened, what shaped him.
And that mystery keeps us hooked.
Right. Oh, for sure. But it's not all doom and gloom, The screenwriter throws in some genuinely funny moments, too.
Oh, good. Some comedic relief.
Yeah. Like the scene where Jonathan accidentally takes the wrong envelope, classic mistaken identity, that kind of thing.
Yeah, those are always good for a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about the laughs. It also reveals something about Jonathan's character, like his nervousness, his tendency to overthink.
Right, right. So the humor also serves a purpose.
Absolutely. And I think the director's trying to strike this balance, between the serious themes and the lighter moments.
Yeah, the blend of psychological drama and romantic comedy. It's an interesting mix.
Oh, for sure. And there's some really interesting clues about the director's vision scattered throughout the treatment.
Oh, like what?
Well, there's this mention of a parallel montage when Jonathan sneaks into Valentina's office to sign up for this training program.
Okay, so we see him, like, trying to get into the program, and at the same time, we see Valentina getting closer to her office.
Yeah, exactly. And it builds this tension, like we're watching a heist movie, even though he's just trying to add his name to a list.
Right, classic film technique. Very effective.
And speaking of film techniques, there's this one that really stood out to me. It's called a J-cut.
A J-cut, huh? I'm not familiar with that one.
So basically, the sound from the next scene starts before we actually see the visuals.
Oh, okay.
And in the final scene, it's used to transition from the present day to a flashback of Jonathan as a child.
Interesting. So it creates a smooth flow, but also a bit of surprise for the viewer.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just a random stylistic choice. It emphasizes this connection between the past and the present. how Jonathan's childhood experiences are still shaping him today.
Right, so it ties into that theme of psychological trauma we were talking about.
Exactly. It's like this subtle but powerful way to reinforce the film's message.
Very clever. So we're dealing with a director who's not afraid to experiment, to use these different techniques to draw us into the story.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes this film treatment so fascinating to analyze. It's like we've been given this glimpse behind the curtain.
Yeah, like a sneak peek into the creative process.
It's exactly. And I can't wait to see how it all comes together on the big screen.
Me too. It sounds like it's going to be a really impactful film.
I think so too. I think so too.
What's really striking about this director is their way of handling Jonathan's trauma.
Yeah. It's not like in your face or anything.
No way. It's subtle, like woven into the story.
Like that scene with the military school photo, remember?
Yeah.
Just standing there so stiff.
Mhm.
It hints at a past, all about discipline, maybe even some repression.
Exactly. And then there's that whole thing with the psychologist.
Oh, yeah, the whole implant thing, right?
Yeah. With the bracelet and the hypnosis, it's like, whoa, this is getting kind of sci-fi.
I know, right? It's almost like the director's trying to make Jonathan's struggles visible.
Yeah, make the abstract, concrete.
Do you think maybe it's like a metaphor or something
Mhm.
for facing your fears head on?
That's a good point. Instead of avoiding his trauma, he's reliving it.
Yeah, but in a safe way, right?
Right, exactly. Maybe the director's trying to say that healing isn't about forgetting, but changing how you view the past.
So it's not just about Jonathan getting physically stronger, it's about inner strength, too.
You got it. And it's all connected to those relationships in the film.
Yeah, all those people pushing him.
Exactly. Like there's this tension between the people pushing him outwardly and his own inner drive.
Like Anton, the trainer, right? He's all about pushing limits.
Yeah. He's like the tough coach, getting Jonathan ready for the emotional fight, not just the physical one.
And then on the flip side, there's the psychologist.
Right, the guide, the one helping him sort through all that stuff in his head.
It's like mind and body,
Yeah.
They got to work together.
Exactly. And this brings us back to Mariana.
Oh, yeah, the whole reason Jonathan's doing all this.
Right. Is it just about love? Or is there something more?
That's the big question, right? I mean, on the surface, yeah, it's romantic, but
But when you look at everything Jonathan's going through,
there's got to be more to it, right?
absolutely. I mean, there's this line from the psychologist that sticks out.
Oh, yeah?
They tell Jonathan, you can go look for the happiness pill, which doesn't exist. Or you can learn to make happiness yourself.
Whoa, that's deep.
Right. It's about finding happiness from within, not from someone else.
So Jonathan's journey, it's not just about getting the girl.
It's about self-discovery, accepting himself, taking control of his life.
And that's something everyone can relate to, right? We all have our own 150 kilograms to lift, our own fears to face.
Absolutely. It's a universal story. This film, it makes you think about your own life, your own challenges.
It's inspiring,
Yeah.
to see Jonathan start out so unsure and then grow stronger, both inside and out.
It's a reminder that we can all change, that even ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
Oh, before I forget, there's that scene at the end on the beach with the runaway coffee pot.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of weird.
Right. I mean, it's funny, but it also feels symbolic somehow.
I know what I mean. What did you think it meant?
Well, maybe the coffee pot represents, like, their desires, the things they're chasing.
And they can't catch it, so maybe it means, like, happiness is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, I like that. And even though they don't catch it, they're still together, laughing.
Right. It's like even if you don't achieve everything, there's still joy in the pursuit itself.
And then that final shot where the camera pulls back and you see everyone else in the office just going about their day.
Oh, yeah. Like Jonathan and Mariana's little adventure is this tiny thing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it puts things in perspective.
It's like the director's saying, lighten up, don't take things too seriously.
I like that. A little reminder from the director.
And it all goes back to the title, right? It's just in your head.
Oh, yeah.
We create our own limitations, It's
Right.
all about perspective.
So this film treatment, it's not just about a story, it's about the human experience.
Love, loss, resilience. It's all there.
This screenwriter, they really know how to tell a story that gets under your skin.
Agreed. It's a blend of genres. It's got compelling characters. It makes you think, I can't wait to see the actual film.
Me too. This director clearly has a vision,
Yeah, a unique style, a real understanding of people, and a passion for filmmaking.
I think this movie's going to stick with people.
Oh, definitely. It'll make you laugh, make you think, and maybe even inspire you to tackle your own 150 kilograms.
Well, I think that's a good place to pause for now. So as you watch this movie, think about how Jonathan's story connects with your own life.
Yeah.
What's your 150 kilograms? What's holding you back? And how can you rewrite your own story?
That's a good question to ask yourself. Yeah. This film, even just as a treatment, it reminds us that we can all grow and change. And it's like it encourages us to really embrace the journey, ups and downs and all that.
It's about facing those fears,
Yeah.
right? Getting outside that comfort zone and believing that you can change.
Yeah, exactly. And remembering that a lot of what holds us back, well, it's all in our heads, like the title says.
It's just in your head.
Right. It's about changing how we see things, challenging those beliefs and creating a new reality for ourselves.
And it all starts with that first step, right? Deciding to face that 150 kilograms, whatever that means for you.
It's about tapping into that inner strength, that resilience that helps us face our challenges and come out stronger.
And I think that's a great point to end on, don't you think? We all have the power to write our own stories, overcome obstacles, and create a life that has meaning.
Absolutely. And to find some humor along the way, right? Like this film shows us, even when things are tough, there's always room for a little laughter, a little joy.
So to all our listeners out there, remember Jonathan's journey. Remember that you can change, and remember you have the strength to lift your own 150 kilograms.